A palette by which in this... That was the Toccata in D minor by Bach. Almost a half-century separates that awkward teenage attempt at fugue and miscellaneous contrapuntal diversions from the most determinedly anachronistic of Bach's later ones, the Art of the Fugue. Bach died before the completion of this latter work, but not before having indulged a degree of fugal gigantism which, by the clock at least, stood unchallenged until the neo-Baroque exhibitionism of Ferruccio Busoni. Despite its monumental proportions, however, an aura of withdrawal pervades the entire work. Bach was, in fact, withdrawing from the pragmatic concerns of music-making into an idealized world of uncompromised invention. One facet of this withdrawal is the return to an almost modal concept of modulation. The harmonic style employed in the Art of the Fugue, though rampantly chromatic, is actually less contemporary than that of his early fugal essays, and often in its nomadic meandering about the tonal map it proclaims a spiritual descent from the Brano di Rore or Don Carlo Gesualdo. Most of the basic key relationships are exploited for structural relief and continuity. There's even the occasional full close on the dominant as Bach terminates a major segment within one of the multi-theme fugues, but only rarely is this fluid and modulatorily shifty opus endowed with that purposeful harmonic determinism for which Bach's middle period fugue writing was notable. There's nothing shifty about the fugue subject upon which this mammoth work is based, however. Like all prodigiously progenitive material, it is in fact simplicity itself. The first fugue, though not less anachronistic in its formal design than its fellows, is, as it must be, an introductory statement in which Bach profiles his main character without giving away too much of the plot. The same subject is employed unmodified for Fugue 2, but in contrast to the somnolent rhythmic equivalence of its predecessor, decked out now in the note and égal finery of music in the French style circa Louis XIV. In the third fugue, the subject gets turned upside down, the first of many such inverted statements, and the counter-theme material, though scarcely identifiable in a motivic sense, begins to assume a nebulous chromaticism, which constantly prejudices the tonal polarity of the primary themes. An inverted subject once again serves the following fugue. In it, some episodes achieve an harmonic ambivalence that would have satisfied that master of convoluted chromatic syntax, Max Reger. Fugue 5 finds Bach more placatively disposed. Here, the subject, now somewhat diatonically distended, is offered in both its original and inverted forms, and the result is a reaffirmation of that singularly gray palette by which, in this work, Bach continually suppresses the more vivid colors of conventional tonal chromaticism. But Fugue 6 and 7 relate to the rhythmic impulse of Fugue 5, as Fugue 2 related to Fugue 1. Once again, the jaunty pace, the dotted rhythm, and additionally now the diminutive and augmentative forms of the theme coexisting in a texture at once opulently archaic and bewilderingly enigmatic. With the 8th fugue, Bach, for the first time, uses new materials for his primary subjects. The result is an expository environment in which the primary theme of the Art of the Fugue is relegated to a substratum, and in which new themes and their relevant countermaterial hold center stage. This, then, as they say in serialized fiction, is the story thus far. I'm going to end our look at the Art of the Fugue now by playing 3 from among the later fugues within this giant work, which roughly pick up the thread of narrative from that point at which our examples set it down. First of all, Fugue 11, in some ways the most summative of them all, combining as it does a variant of the original theme as source for the primary exposition, its own inversion similarly embroidered, and a further exposition based upon an inverted statement of the subject of Fugue 8. After that, we'll hear Fugue 13, or rather the first half of Fugue 13, since it consists of material that not only provides its own inversion as it goes through its expository paces, but like a mirror within a mirror, is itself inverted for a whole new fugue. And finally, Fugue 9, with the virtuoso scale flourishes of its primary subject providing a mise en scène in which, grossly augmented and triumphantly resonant, the work's primary motive strides purposefully down stage. Fugues 11, 13, and 9 from Bach's Art of the Fugue.